Good morning, fans of the new network. It is James Ernest here on Sarah's playlist. We are excited to have bassist Dan Jackson of Casting Shadows. Dan, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, how's it going?
Going great. We're excited about learning more about Casting Shadows and learning more about you. Like, for example, how did you start to learn to play the bass?
You know, I when I was 13, I was really big into skateboarding, and my stepbrother at the time, he was playing bass, and he wanted to learn how to skateboard, and I wanted to learn how to play bass. I'd pick up his bass and I'd jam it a little bit, and he'd go out and ride my skateboard, and we just kind of we ended up switching hobbies for the most part. And then a hobby turned into a passion, and passion turned into this. So
That is awesome. So it's definitely worked out for you. That's
yeah,
great. Actually, it's neat that you mentioned skateboarding because the last person I interviewed last evening, because it had to be last evening because they were in Australia, they had
yeah,
just performed at Tony Hawk's 25th anniversary for their video game.
that's
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, that sounded like a really cool event. But I was like, as cool as it would be to go to something like that, I'm like, going all the way to Australia seemed a little much.
I lived in the Bay Area when Tony Hawk did his 900, and it was crazy.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh, yeah, that had to been huge.
yeah, it was.
So, who are some of your musical inspirations? Obviously, it sounds like your brother inspired you some, but who are the other ones?
It's funny. His father was a big bass player, and I think he just had the bass for the sake of wanting to learn, but um I think that was kind of short-lived for him, but um we still had fun. We jammed every once in a while and stuff like that. But I think ultimately coming up, I was just a big fan of live music. I went and saw some of my favorite bands when I was younger, like Korn and stuff, and seeing them live and the connection that they had with the crowd and the audience, just the way people reacted to their music, just you want a piece of that when you see that live. So
Oh, definitely. It's quite inspirational how just intense the fans get with those bands.
absolutely.
So, how did it all start back in 2016 with Casting Shadows?
So Matt, our singer, him and I were in a band back in 2005 called Orion, and I ended up moving away. I moved to California again, and he went off and did his own thing, and we took some time apart, and adult life kind of did its thing. He joined another band that was kind of short-lived as well, and then later down the line, we reconnected when his cousin strolled into the store I was working at, and said that he was putting a band together, and he knew that I knew his cousin and asked me if I would play bass in that band. So we'd started a separate band called Disrupted Awakening. It was like it was just a project to see if we meshed well or not, and that kind of fizzled out. But me and the guitarist at the time went off to uh, kind of search out a new band. We wanted to create something different and unique, and we put Casting Shadows together piece by piece. We found a drummer and a singer. Matt actually wasn't the original singer, but I was so excited about the music, and I knew Matt would be too. I actually reached out to Matt and I said, "Hey, you got to come to one of our practice sessions and just kind of see how you like it." And he came and he instantly started singing melodies over the top of the stuff, and we actually had two singers in the beginning, and
Wow,
eventually Joe, the original singer, he ended up parting ways with us, and Matt took over as the full-time frontman of Casting Shadows, and that's how Casting Shadows was born.
neat. So, two singers, and then you end up with two guitarists.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So,
Yeah,
that's
actually, Joe, the first singer, he played guitar and sang as well. So,
cool. So, what's the reason behind it? Why do you have two?
to be honest with you, it just gives it a powerful feel and a powerful sound. Plus, you can do a lot more. You could have one guitar running one riff while the other is doing something that complements it, and that's real big in metal. and it just gives it a more solid feel all around. So
Is that how you're able to create such a rich sound?
honestly, we work real hard at making sure that that we're fine tuned. You know, we like to make sure that when we are practicing, we're picking everything apart until it's exactly how we want it to be. Um, I do find that there's always room for something to change. It almost gets to the point where you get so used to fine tuning everything, you almost have to remind yourself that, hey, we've done enough to this one. It can't get much better than this, and so that's usually how we go into the studio with that mindset. And then we get there, and then you get a different set of ears on it. And our producer Nikki from Dexter's Lab, he's also the drummer of Kings and Liars, currently on tour with his band Many Eyes right now. He'll listen to the songs and he'll go, you know, I would make a change here, or I would fix this, or I'd adjust that. And between that and his production work, like, it's just that's probably how we get the rich sound. It's a lot of time, dedication, and focus.
Exactly. Sometimes it's nice to have an outside influence, and especially with somebody with his background and his experience, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, he's incredibly talented, and he's worked with a lot of great artists. It's an honor to go into a studio a lot of the time. So
Your music makes the world and the future seem so dark and foreboding. Why is that?
you know, it's funny. I had never really thought of it like that. We try to encourage people to feel how they want to feel when they listen to our music. So if you know, if that's how you connect with it, you know, it's always nice to hear a new interpretation or a new perspective. But you know, we try to encourage people not to lose hope and not to lose sight of possibility of better things to come, even during dark and foreboding times. Um, I think that I think that when we're writing it, we're just kind of speaking from a place in our heart, and not we're not, you know. So maybe in that moment we're in a dark and foreboding time, but I think overall, um, you know, we hope to more so connect and make sure that people don't feel like they're going through things on their own, you know. So
At what point, what are some of the ways that life is hammered down on you?
me personally, I would say, you know, I've always kind of felt like I get like this close to something good happening, and then, you know, something else comes and gets in the way of that. There's definitely times where, you know, you spend days, weeks, months hammering away at a goal, and then all of a sudden, like something like the end of the world happens, like COVID. You know, COVID
Yeah,
happened. I actually, right before that happened, I had started working on a bunch of music for a tour I was supposed to fill in on, and I was excited. That was like supposed to be my first big tour, and um, you know, and then the world went dark, and but that's kind of been, you know, when it comes to life hammering down on me, that's always kind of been the story. It's like you think you're just right there before something great, and then it pulls the rug out from under you, but you keep going, and that's all you can do. So
definitely. I love that positive attitude.
yeah,
Why do so many people feel so alone?
you know, um, I think a lot of the times we just uh, I think we forget to look at the people that are close to us, and we tend to look at the people that are that let us down, and we don't we don't always uh, recognize the fact that we have support systems in places that we're not really looking for them, you know. And I think that at the end of the day, you're not alone if you have people around you. I think you can connect with people. You just have to be willing to open yourself up to that. And I think a lot of people close themselves off, and um, once they feel let down by a certain group or individual or whatever the case may be, all of a sudden they're ready to exile everybody. And actually, there's we have some of that in our music too. So we have a couple of songs coming up on the next album that kind of relate to that feeling. So
Oh, cool. So your music inspires your fans to fight through life and
mhm.
not let it weigh you down or crush you. Is that an intentional message? And is that part of your creation process?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, we welcome self-interpretation. We don't we try not to be too specific about what it is that we're writing. But some of it's pretty black and white, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, that's what this is about. But ultimately, um we have to try to find that inspiration to keep going and keep pushing on. And if our music helps people do that, that's great. I remember there was a kid in Utah that actually reached out to us probably about, I'd say, about a year after our first album. And, he told us that our music saved his life. And that, he said he was going through a dark time, and he put on our song Known Universe. And that was like one of the ones that he just connected with. And he would play it over and over and over. And it helped him through a hard time. And um, yeah, I think I think if we can help people inadvertently or directly, we're always happy to do so.
Speaking about helping people, after listening to your music, I wondered, have you ever worked with like the Suicide Crisis Line to share your message? Because more people need to know that they're not alone and that other people have those feelings from time to time.
We have not had the honor or the privilege of working with them, but that is not something that we're close-minded to doing. I think that would be something fantastic. And I've oftentimes contemplated, you know, talking to the guys and seeing if we can work something like that into maybe one of our videos, something like that in the future, just to kind of make people more aware. Because you're right, I've lost a lot of friends to suicide, and I'm sure you've experienced some things in your life as well. And you can only hope that you find tools to help your friends and family in need. So
Exactly. I mean, maybe at the end of the video, putting the number for them to call or something
exactly.
like that. Yeah, it would be really great. I mean, that's awesome when you all have a platform like that you do to be able to use it for something good, which it sounds like you guys are doing that. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, because your emotional music and the relationship, your relentless live performances, that you have such a rapid fan base, is that fair to say?
Um, I think we definitely hammered the shows. For the first few years. We took pretty much any show that was thrown at us, and it took a long time to um, get to the point where we had to go, you know what, like we need to be smarter about this. We're driving 2-3 hours for you know
Yeah,
minimal pay and this, that, the other. And it's like, when you can't even afford to put the gas in everybody's cars, that can be rough. But as time went on, we started doing a lot better in the band. You know thing, things things came about where we could afford to do more stuff at a more rapid rate. And we're trying to get to a point where we can reach more people. But as far as our current fan base goes, I can't thank the people in this music scene here in New England enough. Let alone all the people that support us from Canada, California, Australia, Brazil. Like we get a lot of people from all over the country that reach out to us. And I think we're not, we don't try to come off as the for lack of a better word, uh douchey. We try not to come off as the rock star type. And if somebody messages us, we respond immediately. And we try to connect with people where we can. And there was a friend of ours from and you know you would call them a fan because they discovered us through the music, but uh, we call them friends. We had somebody reach out to us and ask us for a CD, and I responded and asked, would you like the band to sign it for you? And they were like mind blown that a band would take the time to sign a CD. And I'm like, what bands wouldn't take 2 minutes of their time to sign a CD to make somebody's day? And that always blew my mind, and it kind of stuck with me. So from here on out, that's always going to be an option if you hit me up for a CD. So
Nice.
yeah,
So the other thing that I really get out of your music is the duality of human nature.
yeah,
Yeah, I really feel, of course, I believe that's kind of what the name kind of initiates, the casting shadows is the light and the dark. Go
yep.
tell us a little bit about that.
Um, it's the names really, it comes down to choices. You can be the light or you can be the dark in somebody's life, and how you choose to be and how you present yourself in somebody else's life can have a huge impact on them and a huge impact on the way they see you and choose to interact with you. Like you were talking about earlier, people feeling alone. I personally try to be that person that makes my circle of friends never feel alone. And I would hope that more people would do that. I choose to be the light in people's life, and that's we can spew negativity, we can talk trash on other people, but it's just it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything good for anybody. And I think we need to find a better way to support each other, and ultimately that's the shadow that you cast on the world. That's what you provide for people. So.
I don't know your religious beliefs, but if you change a couple words, you all are really close to being a Christian band.
That I we are not Christian. I can't speak for everybody, but our lead singer is a very proud Jew, and at the end of the day, the if we connect with Christians through our beliefs and how we present ourselves, then I'm about that. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to doing right by other people, and I think that's something that all belief systems should partake in, and no matter what your religion is. So it's a good way to be.
This is one of my favorite things when artists do this, the birthday bash.
Yes.
Is that something you do every year, or was that just this last couple of years?
It's funny. That is something that has become an annual thing for me. I I I just enjoy the celebration, getting with my friends and having a good time. And to be honest with you, when you've been playing as many shows as we have, it takes nothing to throw a quality show together and slap a flyer together and pass it out to all your friends and say, "Hey, come show up." I probably put the same kind of energy into that somebody might throw into having a dinner party for their birthday, and
Oh,
and but there's enough people um that enjoy coming to those things that it circulates fast, and it's a lot of fun. But it's not like a big, maybe I'm downplaying it, but it's not a huge thing. But it is a great time every time. So we usually only do maybe like 4 or 5 bands at most. Last year we only had 3. It was us, Kings and Liars, and Murdersome from Virginia. They drove up, so that was
oh,
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he invented them, but who I always associate the birthday bash with is Opus.
Yeah, good old Opus. Yeah. He's he throws a rager every year. That is awesome. I think it's great that Toad's Place like open their doors to him every year and allows that to happen. I go as often as I can. I think since I moved back to Connecticut, I've probably missed maybe like 3 of them since like I don't know. I honestly I couldn't remember at this point, but yeah, no, I've been going every year pretty consistently, whether we're on the bill or not. We've played a couple of them too as well.
Oh,
So
yeah, I mean, it just sounds like such a fun, exciting event. However, I like how you do it because it seems more relaxed and more fun. With
yeah,
him, how intense his event is, it seems more like work. Where yours seems more enjoyable. I mean,
you
at the
know,
experience, I'm sure he has fun, but
oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, anytime you're dealing with 12, 13, 14 bands on a bill, you got some work to do, but like I said, with experience, it kind of goes a lot smoother. So when you've been doing it that long, you kind of understand that, okay, you want to reach out to the bands, you want to talk about backlining gear, so you're not loading the stage up with all this extra stuff. And um that as somebody that's played the Opus Bash, it's actually super easy. I go down to Toad's place. They usually have a big stack of discount passes, and then you just give them out to your friends, and it's drop them in the mail, leave them at Guitar Center or on the counter at your favorite restaurants or whatever the case may be. And there's no like ticket sale process. It's just
oh,
get as many people to come as you can, and that's it. So
sounds
yeah,
awesome.
Opus is good about that. He takes care of the bands on his bills too. So,
Well, it has been a pleasure having you on today, Dan. We've been excited learning more about Casting Shadows. Before we let you
yeah.
go, where on social media, where on the web, where can we learn more about Casting Shadows?
You can go right to our website. It's castingshadowsofficial.com. That's where you can find a lot of our merch and our music. We're also on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X if you want to call
Yeah,
it that. Uh, we Yeah, you can pretty much find our music on all streaming platforms. We pretty much hit most of them at this point. And yeah, we look forward to connecting with anybody that's listening and tuning into this. And we appreciate you hitting me up for this meeting. And yeah, let's connect in the future, man. I'm
that
excited to do more of this.
sounds great. It was our pleasure, and I just love the fact that you said that to the fans that shoot if they do reach out to you, you'll follow up with them, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Cool. No problem. Thank you.